Hello, Akko here again. Welcome back to my FTB Monster Beginner's Guide. Now, I'm going to start off with a little complaint. I've updated the server. I'm on version 1.0.9. It's not a server, it's a mod pack. I've updated the single player client to version 1.0.9. Unfortunately, when I updated, I started the world without enabling the optional mods. So I started it without biomes of plenty, without blood magic, and what else we got on? Is it Opus? I think that's all we've got running on here. So what that meant is it destroyed all my blood magic stuff, so I've had to respawn all that back in. But what the bigger issue that it's made is it's screwed all the world gen up. So see these here, these are chunk edges. So I've got biomes that are mingling with each other all around the distance around here. It's all horrible. So you can really make your world look ugly, so I'm not really happy about. This here is like a mountain, so this is real high. This is a plain, so it's real low. So there's just solid walls that are about 60 blocks high around here, so that's a bit shit. So make sure you learn from my mistake and make sure you do a backup of your save before you do any kind of update. Because if I had a backup, I could have just reloaded the backup. I forgot to do a backup, so that's something you should learn. Now I'm out and about. I'm miles away from my base. My base is right over there. So the area around my base is okay because that's loaded in, but if I go travelling any kind of distance where I've not been before, I get all these hard edges because something must build chunks further out if biomes of plenty is not enabled. I don't know. But I've been looking for these things. We're going to need some of these pretty soon. These are rubber trees from Manufacture Reloaded, so I'm going to grab some saplings from these. So there's two types of rubber trees you can find. So that's just an oak tree, silly me. There's two types of rubber trees you can find. There's IC2 rubber trees and there's Manufacture Reloaded. I prefer Manufacture Reloaded, but the choice is yours. You can automate them both. You can automate these ones much better. These actually drop raw rubber from the logs, which makes them better in my opinion. The IC2 one, you've got to tap little rubber spouts on the side, which you can automate. I like the way them leaves are just falling down real quick. I wonder what's doing that. Wonderful. That's something that the Farmcraft pick did, but that's really nice. So I've got 5 saplings, that's enough. So now I can fly home. If I see I see 2 rubber sapling, rubber tree. So point that out so you know what it looks like. So you see all these hard edges. These are all on chunk boundaries. Look, I've made a mess of my world. If this wasn't a series I was recording, I'd probably delete this world and start again, for being honest. I don't like messy worlds. Just look ugly. So yeah, something you've got to be aware of when playing with a mod pack that has certain things disabled by default. You've got to make sure you enable them when you update. Right, the world's not going to load in very well while I am recording and flying around at pace. There's an IC2 rubber tree. So what I'm going to show you this tree. So that's your Manufacture Reloaded rubber tree, and this is what your IC2 rubber tree looks like. And you can spot these from a distance because they've got that little thing off the top of leaves, and we get 2 or 3 leaves going straight off the top that most trees don't have. So you can spot them from quite a long way away. There we go, get rid of him. And what these have, this should have a little thing on it somewhere. Let's have a look. Get rid of these leaves. There it is. So that's got a little spout, rubber spout there, and what you do, you use a tree tap to pull the spout there, to pull rubber out the spout. So that's the way of getting it. Right, I'm going to cut the camera. I'll meet you back at my base. Okay then, I'm back at my base, and we're going to get on with making, using them saplings pretty soon from the rubber trees, and we're going to also want some normal wood from wood trees, and we're going to want to automate these guys as well. But let's have a look at the list and see where we're up to. So we finished episode 7 with a slight automation on the XP bush. I'm going to come back to that because I've since learned how to cheaty, but make it a lot more efficient. If you've been watching my other videos, you may know. We did the Falmic robes. We're on to this stuff, so I want to get on with Spellbinding Cloth, Bibliothek enchantment bookmaking. This is pretty clever, this stuff. It's you can actually make enchanting books. And then I'm going to get one of the farms. First of all, I want to activate my spring boots. Now I made these spring boots last time. This is a bit of a danger of doing a beginner's guide with stuff that I don't really know what I'm doing myself. So I made these and they're a bit shit. They're alright, but they're not really doing anything for me. Oh, I've put some pressure plates. I don't know if I mentioned that last episode. I put pressure plates, these silent shrouded ones, on both of these gates, so that I just run up and they open. I can just run through them. Pretty nice. So yeah, to activate the spring boots, we need another machine. It's called a coil winder. There it is. So let's make one of them. So 2 times gear unit, a shaft unit, some base panels, and a couple of ingots. So what I need to do first is grab some more steel out of here. So I put 63 steel in there, so that's 16's bonus. 63 iron, I mean. So we've got 16 bonus steel out of that, which is very nice. If we head down here, so what did I want? I said I wanted... So the shaft unit was in there. A double gear was in there. Some base panels were in there. So it's 3 base panels. Okay, so I need some more base panels. I've only got 2 there. 3 base panels, shaft unit, gear, and is it 3 ingots? So this will need to be made in the in the wet table, like all the machines for rotary craft art, and I've done it wrong. There's 2 of them, and that's the other way around. That gives us this thing called a coil winder. We also need a coil. Now a coil, I'm not sure if we do it in here. Let's have a look. This might need to be in the wet table as well. They're wind springs. Oh yeah, that's what I've already got. I've got 2 of them here. So you see that wind spring? It's not a coil that I wanted at all. These wind springs, you see it says 0 kilojoules. What we can do is if we run back up here. Now this is where this is going to come in handy. I'm going to need a lever, which I don't think I've got one on me. Nope. Alright, I have to make a lever. What we can do with this is we put the coil winder down there, and that can take power from this industrial coil that we've been putting power into. So if we look into here, we will see that this should have a lot of power in it. It's got 1 gigajoule. Is that 1000 megajoules? It's got a lot of power in it. What we do with this is we put the wind spring into there, input mode. And wind springs can also be used in output mode to charge these up, so you could use these to charge things as well. So if we put this into output mode, and then we click on that, does that say, look, that's an output now. Put it to, go back into input mode, that's an input. So these, you can use these for remote power. You can wind up a coil spring. Now the coil spring can go up to 3000 kilojoules, but the higher it gets, the more chance it has of breaking. So I did a little bit of testing, and they generally broke by about 2000 kilojoules. So I guess there's maybe a way you can make that more efficient, so you get less chance of it breaking. But as it was for me, I found that they broke before 2000 every time. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to probably put about 500 in this, just so we've got a bit in it. So let's get a lever on the wall. And we're going to want, let's say, 8192 and 2048 torque. How's that sound? So it's just put quite a lot of torque into this. So we'll turn that on. You see that's putting power into the wind spring there. So I'll go to about 1000. I'll be back in a minute. I'll charge both of these wind springs up to about 1000. Back in a sec. Well, I'm back. The first one broke. I put that down to 1024 on each. The first one broke at about 500, so I've taken this one out at 521. What we can do with this now is, with our boots, will it work in here? No. I think we have to use a weight table for this as well. If we come down here now, back to the weight table, combine the boots with the wind spring, and you see what it does. It takes that 521 out, and you see after the semicolon there, or is that a colon? You see that's got 521 power in it. So what we've done, we've taken the charge out of the wind spring, and we've put it into the boots. So now when we put the boots on, hey, now I've got speed 3 and jump boost 4. So that's what I was after. So as you can see, I can move pretty quick and I can jump pretty high. So that's what I was expecting to do the first time. When I did this, when I learned about these boots, I did it in creative, and actually the ones that I spawned in had full 30,000 kilojoules in them, which is why I was confused last time. So there's the first thing done. Right now, we'll change this around a little bit. I am actually going to cut this down, which seems a bit counterintuitive. That's only got us like 15 concentrated essence berries since we last saw it, but that's okay. What I'm going to do instead is, I'm going to take this on. These are going to go up in the tower there, because that's where my enchanting stuff is anyway. We need to make a couple of more things to go with this. We need to make... Right, what do we need to make? I need some obsidian for this, so I hope I've got some. Oops, forgot about that. So, first thing I need is a thing called a vacuum hopper. Oops, didn't mean to throw that on the floor. And I just have to cut camera because there's someone at my door. Okay then, I'm back up in my tower. Sorry about that, yeah, there's someone at the door and they wasn't going away, so I couldn't ignore him. Right, so what I want to do now then is, first of all, we need to make a thing called a hopper, which I'm sure you've seen before. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've made in this series already. So I'm going to get a hopper made, just like so. I'm going to combine the hopper with an ender pearl and an obsidian to get what's called a vacuum hopper from open blocks. And what we're going to do is we are going to put our essence berry just there. We're going to have that guy there. And what we're going to do is we are going to have our autonomous activator just there for now. And this time, instead of putting a stick in, we are just going to leave it as it is. So what's going to happen is it's going to eat the berries. But what happens when it eats the berries is it kicks it out as an XP orb. So if we were stood near it when it was eating the berries, then it would give them to us, but we're not going to be stood near it. So what we need to do is we need to have something to catch the XP, and that's where this guy comes in handy. This is a vacuum hopper, and what it does, it will suck up anything that go near it. So if I have to throw that on the floor, so it got sucked into there. Well, it can suck items in. It can also suck XP in. So this is a little XP tank it's got, and it can output into a tank. So what we need to make now, also from open blocks, are a couple of these guys. You get two of these things called tanks, just glass planes and a bit of obsidian. Get you these. So we're going to put them up here, and what we're going to have is on this we're going to click on the XP outputs, and if you right click on this you can rotate it around, so that'll be the way you're facing at it. So what we're going to do is left click on that side, and you'll see that is going to collect any XP that this eats and throws it in there. So if we throw these in the activator, it should eat these 15 berries. I think it gave me some of that. There we go. So it's at them 15 berries that was in there, and you see we've got some liquid XP in the tank. We have got 1.1 buckets out of 16 buckets, and there's enough for 16, so 32 buckets worth in there. And then the other thing we do, this is a little bit cheaty. This is using a thing from another mod, and what we're going to do with this, we're going to set this to first slot only, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to create another thing here called a watering can, which you can see up there. It uses a bowl, some smooth stone and a piece of bone meal. Now this is getting adjusted in an upcoming version, so that it only does 10% of what it does now. Now this is meant to manually be able to water things and make them grow. So if we water that, it should grow. Doesn't seem to want to. But what you can do with this is you can put it into an autonomous activator. What that'll do is that's going to keep right clicking it and keep forcing that to grow. Now it might have already been adjusted because that doesn't seem to be growing very quick. So I am on a very up-to-date version, so that might have already been changed. Now, there's other things that we can do with this to make it grow quicker. The one that I like best is Blood Magic Ritual of the Green Grove, which is, oh look, it's grown one bit. And speaking of that, we can actually use our sigil of the Green Grove. Let's turn our sigil on, and you see it'll grow pretty quick. So, in fact, so you see little XP orbs falling off it. Well, what's actually happening with them is they're actually going to go, they're getting sucked up and put into here. So this should be going up. And it isn't yet. Because I'm catching them out, I'm too close to it. It's going to me instead. So we'll leave that as it is. And that should be growing stuff quicker. I don't actually particularly like this way of doing it, but it works. I'm possibly too close. Look at that, I keep getting the XP myself. So that is one way of doing it. I could just stand near this. This sigil of the Green Grove is certainly making it work quicker. That should be making it work quicker. I might have to actually bring that back a step, thinking about it. That is pretty sucked up by that. This probably wants to be over here, making my base look a little bit untidy, which I don't like either. I'll put that there. We'll put that in there. And that should keep growing that. You'll see a little XP thing kind of fly at us each time it does anything. Well, we'll see if that goes up. It's got 1400 in there. Now the beauty of this tank method we're doing it is we could use a barrel and put them in as actual berries, and we could have stored a hell of a lot more. But we're going to be using it pretty quick. This is a single player world, so it's not chunk loaded. The server's not running when I'm offline. It is chunk loaded when I'm online, but whenever I go offline the server shuts down. So we're going to want to be using this XP pretty quick. So this 32 buckets worth is probably going to be certainly enough. So we're up to 1860, so that's kind of working. Later on we'll be doing a ritual of the green grove under this, and that'll work much quicker. What we can do with this is if we right click on that tank with an empty hand, we get a full level. See that? It took us up to level 19, level 20, level 21. So that's really nice. You can just click on levels. So now we want to be using these levels, yeah? So that's just all spare stuff. So we can put that just in here out of the way for now. We'll put that back for now. We'll put that there, and we can put that back. So next up then, we want to use this so we can get some really good enchants on our gear. So what I'm going to start showing you now is this thing. This is from Bibliocraft. Now the recipe, you need two things from Bibliocraft here. One thing is this called a printing press, blocks of iron, which are of course just 9 iron in a square, a couple of slabs of any type of wood, a weighted pressure plate, which is a pressure plate made out of iron, a couple of iron ingots, and one blaze rod. Gets you this guy called the printing press. And then we need this thing that goes with it. It's called a typesetting table. Is that what it's called? Typesetting table. So if we look at that, bit similar, but uses wood and a redstone rather than iron ingots there. Slabs, iron ingots, and a thing called a chase. Now the chase is made with just an iron ingot with some slabs around it. So what we've got here is a typesetting table and a printing press. Now I've loaded this up a bit. We've not actually seen any information looking at this. But what we can do is get this thing in here. Now I've just made a nice little wooden case for this. Wooden cases are nice there, just like that. So if I shift right click that with an empty hand, it'll open the case. And what I've got in here is a thing called a monocle. Gold nuggets from a bit of glass. Now if I put my monocle on, we actually get a bit of extra info looking at this. So if you look there now, I'm looking at the books. You can see down at the bottom it says 64 books. And if I look in there, it says 15 chases. And it says select a book. Well, what we can do is with enchanted books, we can copy them with this. Which is very nice indeed. What we need to do is we need to get some ink. So I've killed a few squid, got some ink. And the ink goes on there somewhere. Oops, there we go. You see that's got 12 ink in, and it's telling us because we've got the monocle on. Okay, I cut there because I'm not actually ready to do the next bit yet, but we've got this bit ready. And what we can do once we've got some enchanted books is we can now start to copy them, so we can actually put them on our bits of armour. So what we're going to be aiming for is a repair tool book. And there's certain ways we can get that, which I'm going to have to come back to, because we're not quite ready for it yet. But what we're going to do in the rest of the episode is going to tie into that and work and help us work towards it. So I'm going to put that back in there for now, just so it's out of the way. And that'll be there in the world download when we get to it. I'll put my helmet back on. And what we're going to do now is we're going to head down here, and we are going to start making some rubber. So what I'm going to do is grab these saplings. Not used to that yet, damn it. Grab these saplings out of here, these rubber saplings, and again with my sigil of the green grove, it's going to help me grow these nice and quick. So I'm going to plant these all down here, turn my sigil on, and give it a bit of a weight, and these should pop up. Might not be enough room here, but come on. Come on, you know you want to grow. There's one. No. Cut that down, hopefully they'll get trapped in any more that grow. Oop, like that. So what this should do is give us a decent amount of rubber, just to get going. We're making some stuff from Manufacture Reloaded. So that's what we're ready for at the minute. Now we haven't actually got a way of powering them, so we're going to get on with that next. Come on, grow please. Yeah, we've got 12, it's not bad. We'll let them grow naturally. I could always turn that off and just actually click them as well, of course. Is it click right on them? No, it's just turn it on and off. Let's say maybe don't work so well with it. Anyway, let's put that away for now. We've got enough to keep us going, so we'll put that back in there. We'll get this rubber. I should have some more in here as well somewhere. When I cut them trees, now we've got 37. That's going to last us. That's going to be great. So what we need to do with this is, if we look at rubber and use it, first of all, you can see in the Ore Dictionary it's the same as ball of glue, which you get from killing horses in a smeltery. And I actually thought it was the same as rubber from IC2, but I think we have to cook it first. So if we look at this and smelt it smelts it into a rubber bar, and that is what's the same as IC2 rubber. So what we need to do is go and cook this. So I'll get this in my furnace, I'll cook it up, I'll be back when that's all cooked into rubber bar. Okay then, here we are back again, and I've run the rubber through, made it all into rubber bars, and then I have to run it through again to make it into this stuff called raw plastic. So that's the rubber put in the furnace again, so we'll run that through there twice. We get all these plastic sheets, so I've got 32 of them. And now with these we can make certain things. Now the first thing we're going to want, what we're going to make here, is we're going to make a couple of tree farms, and we're going to make the thing that's going to help us with our enchanting. So first of all, a couple of tree farms, and these saplings are growing by the way, so I'm going to come back up. They've been there a good 10 minutes while I've been sorting some stuff out. I no longer have to go from my gate, I can jump over with these boots, which is nice. So for the time being, they're just going to go in there. Now I'm going to make a little simple automated system, so I hope I don't go too quick with this. What we need is, I'm going to make 2 tree farms at the same time here. So we're going to have 2 planters. Planters need machine frames from Family Expansion. So this is Manufacturer Reloaded we're playing with, but because Manufacturer Reloaded has got certain recipe sets, it's got a vanilla one that's really cheap, and it's got a slightly more expensive one that uses Family Expansion stuff, and this is the best balanced one I think. So this is set by default to this anyway, but even if it wasn't, I'd probably set it to this. So what we need are machine frames. You can use steel if you've got loads of steel, but you can use iron. So actually, the way the smelter works over there is probably even cheaper using steel because we get the bonus steel, but never mind. I'm going to use iron. So I've made some of these guys. So it's just iron, any kind of glass with gold in the middle. And I've made some of these guys. It's gold with redstone on the other side, gets these reception coils. So now we need pistons, some of this plastic sheet we've just made, and some flower pots. So I've got all the bits we're going to need in here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then in my bag here we've got flower pots, pistons, 1, 2 of them guys, and 2 of them guys, and then we need some copper. So I think that copper's earmarked for something else. Let's run back in here and grab a bit more copper over here. So copper and copper, that gets us 2 of these planters. What they're going to do, they're going to plant saplings for us on the dirt above them. Now later on, we're only going to make little 3x3 ones of these, and later on we're going to put blood magic rituals underneath them. Rituals of the green grove, but for now, we're just going to run them like this. And then on top of the planters, we have dirt and we grow trees, but then we need harvesters to actually harvest what we're going to grow. So in here we've got these things, harvesters, very similar. They're gold down there instead, and they actually need Invar axes. Interesting. So they need Invar. So what we're going to have to do for Invar is process a little bit of our ferrous. So I made the wrong axes. I made some iron axes. So I didn't realise they was Invar. So that's slightly more expensive. Invar is made by combining iron and nickel. So we need to make a bit of nickel. So for that, I've been saving this because you can get bonus platinum off this later on. So I'm saving it for that, but in here we should have some ferrous ore. I'll use 4 of them. Now let's see where this can be processed. Can this go into our grinder? It can. It says just 1. Well, that's not correct, is it? I'm sure. Should give us more than 1 of them, I think. Let's just look iron in the grinder. We know that iron gives us 3 in there. So what can we use iron in? Show me that in the grinder. Grinder. That's showing 1 as well. Let's Let's put one of these ferrets in here and see what happens. I like being able to move a bit quicker, it's very nice. So I'm going to put one of these in there. What's going on here? Oh, water. Let's work out what's going on wrong here, back in a sec. Okay then, that wasn't too bad. All that happened was the water underneath the pump under there had run out, so I got my sigil, water sigil out, put a bit of water under there, now that's all running fine again, and it did in fact give me 3, so I've got 3 nickel ingots out of there, which is very nice, and what I've done is I've used a smeltery over here to turn them into invar, so 2 iron and 1 nickel will become invar. So you can see in there we have got molten invar there, and we've got a molten nickel there. When these melt, that will all become, come on, melt, there we go. So that's all changed into molten invar, so we can turn that in now into ingots with the ingot plate there. So we'll turn that lever off, that'll put them out, and we'll be able to make our invar pickaxes. So I'm not going to make the third lot into invar just yet, but in fact I made all that off camera because that'll come in handy for us as well, to be honest. A little bit more of that. Oops. So I probably will throw that in there a bit. I put the rest of the ore back in there, so I've actually only used one of the ferrous ores, and what we're getting in here is invar ingots. Wonderful. To make invar axes. Wonderful. So the rest of our stuff, so our machine frames again, our reception coils again, some plastic again, and we need shears this time. Of course don't stack, so that's why they're in there. That gets us, am I missing something? Yes, I am missing gold, aren't I? Gold down there yet. I'll grab our gold. 1, 2, 1, 2. And that gets us 1 harvester and then 2 harvesters. So there we've got the basics of 2 tree farms. I'm going to use 2 tree farms. I want 1 for rubber. I want plenty of that rubber stuff. I want 1 for oak. So we've got plenty of oak. So, and if space for these, now we need a bit of space around so they can grow. So I have 1 here, and I have 1 a little bit further over here. So what we're going to want is come down 1, 2, and then we'll have a couple of gaps. 1, 2, and we'll have the other one over there, and then come down under there, so we can get across to that. There we go, and the same over here. Sweet. Now basically what we're going to want here is we are going to want planters underneath. So planter's going to go there, and we are going to want harvesters up on the top. So what I'm going to put is my harvesters up here actually. Is that going to work? Should do. And then it's turning round, so I'll use a wrench. So they're facing the right way now. So now, 2 things we need to do next. Make it so I can get underneath here so I can work. So that should let me send me up to there, and it has. Wonderful. I'll do the same on that one. In fact, I'll make one of these at a time. So now we're going to need power. So for power, we'll actually switch to a different mod. We could just make an engine, and there's various engines we could make, and we could use our lava crystal to power them. But what I'll do, I want to create a little passive way of creating power for these. So what we're going to use is another mod. This is called Ender IO. We'll make a little Ender IO setup in here. So let's look at Ender IO. What I'm going to want is we're going to make this thing called a Sterling generator. This creates RF power. I've got all the bits for that in my inventory as well. So what we're going to want is, first of all, some of these gears, which I've done the pattern wrong, so press C to rotate that. There we go. So these basic gears, and let's get all this stuff out of here. I want some of that stuff and a piston at the bottom. Next with this guy, Sterling generator. What we can do with that is we can power a couple of other machines we're going to make, and we can use our lava crystal in there. So let's stick that in there for now. Sweet. So that there is using power from our LP network, and it's starting to fill up that up with RF. So 100,000 RF. So that's 10,000 MJs. It's very nice. And then we've got two machines that go with that. We've got a thing called a sag mill, which is made like so. So we need a couple of things here. We need a thing called a machine chassis, which is very simple, iron bars and iron. So let's make two of them. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, oops. Not 4, 2. Two of them, and then them guys go around it. That gets us in machine chassis. So we're having two of them. Then we need the thing in the bottom here called a basic capacitor. Now that's the same in all three of these machines. There's alloy smelter, sag mill. There's a paint machine, we don't have to get to that yet. So this basic capacitor is copper, redstone and gold nuggets. Nice and easy. So copper, gold nuggets and a bit of redstone. This is two of them, wonderful. And now we can actually make the things that we want. So we've got flint. So the sag mill was flint and iron. So let's put some iron on there. That gives us this guy called a sag mill. And then the other one is called a alloy smelter. And that's a furnace, some copper, and a couple of bricks. So there's a couple of bricks. There's a furnace. And there's some copper. That gives us that guy, alloy smelter. Wonderful. What we can do in this is we can now make fancy little early game power. That's really useful. So I'm going to put the sag mill on one side. I'm going to put the alloy smelter on the other. And the generator is going to pass power to both of these. So these are both going to fill up. So our lava crystal there is working away. Check my LP network, make sure nothing's getting dangerously low. We've got 25,000 LP in there, so that's fine still. Don't have to worry about that. So what we're going to make is, from this mod, we're going to make these guys, photovoltaic cells. Now these need quite a few things. First of all, we need coal dust. The way we can get that is by putting coal into our sag mill that we've just made. So I'm going to make 3 of these for now. So we need 6 coal dust. Let's get 6 coal. We want some nether quartz. We want some coal. Got no coal. What's happened? I know there's a little bit of coal. We need some glass. We need some oak wood slabs. What else do we need? Quartz. That's for that. And we need some gold, some glowstone, and some redstone. So we're going to want 12 of both of them. So 12. Failing massively. 12 of them. And 12 gold. The first thing we're going to make, should be a bit of coal in here. There is, that'll do. And I want some gold eye. 12 gold. So the first thing we're going to make in our sag mill is, I'm going to put some coal in there. So I needed 6 coal, didn't I? And there is a bonus chance of getting extra ones in here. But that's certainly going to give us enough. I think that's already gives us a bonus anyway, isn't it? What does each one give me 2? Oh look, that only give me 1 that time. So I've got bonuses on the first 2 of them. So we've got the 6 coal powder we need. Now this thing can use as a normal furnace, or you can use it just for alloys, or you can use it as a furnace only. So all smelting means that if it can use it both ways. We're just going to restrict this at the minute for furnace only, because I don't want it to do anything else with this. Nope, I mean alloys only. We've put them 3 things in there. That's going to start making us this stuff, this energetic alloy, which is an alloy, of course. So that'll start making that for us. Now the next thing we're going to want is some of this fused quartz stuff. Now that has to go in there as well. So for fused quartz we need 2, 4, 6 of them. So we need 4 nether quartz for each of them. We need 24 nether quartz to go into there. So it's quite expensive on nether quartz. So they need to go into there. Clear state of my inventory. Tell you what, shall I come back when I've done that? I'll come back when I've got all this ready. Back in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and before I carry on, I just want to say I'm not particularly liking how this episode's going, if I'm being honest. It's all a bit topsy-turvy. I've been interrupted several times. I'm recording on a Saturday, and as I've said before, my house is always very busy. So if I had a well save, which I mentioned earlier, if I had a well save, I'd have probably gone back to the well save and started this episode again, but unfortunately I ain't got a well save, even though I said at the top of the episode I should be doing one every episode, really. So I'm just going to carry on going. There, that's still filling up. Let's just check our LP again, make sure we are in the realms of safety. And I started getting into my actual network there, so the 10k that was in the altar has gone. And what we've got is, I put that 24 quartz in, and that got me this fused quartz. So now we've got all the bits we need to make 3 of these things with that coal powder there. The only other thing it needed was these daylight sensors. These are just vanilla Minecraft slabs, quartz, and any kind of glass. So they go there, and that gets us 3 of these photovoltaic cells. Now these are a good early way of getting power because they don't require any fuel. Once you've made them, these will just put out 1 MJ a tick all day. So the solar, so they'll work during the day. They work during the rain as well, which is nice. Now, one of the things I didn't like was the way that was going, so I've got rid of them. What we've got up here is I'm just doing a 1 tree farm, so we only need 1 tree farm really. And what I'm going to do is just going to do an oak farm. So I forgot my oak saplings, silly me. See what I mean? So when things go wrong, everything goes wrong. So I've got 43 oak saplings to start there. So a little simple setup. So this is the basic setup. I've done it up here so we can see underneath it a bit easier rather than have it buried under the ground. So what I've got is some item ducts leading to some jabber barrels, and I've put a trash can here as well because once these barrels get full, then I want the excess to go into there. Now there's ways I'm going to do this. What I want to do is actually stop once it's full of logs. Saplings and apples I ain't that bothered about. But what we're going to do is, so this runs right down here. We need to put saplings into the planter, so we need to have an input into the planter, and we need to have an output from the harvester that's going to harvest the stuff for us. So we start off by giving it power. So this is going to be pretty slow because this ain't really enough to run this stuff full time. But what I'll do is I'm going to bang that on there, and that's going to start putting power into both this. See, it's very slow, but start putting power into both this and this. So these are both getting power. Now what we can do is, we might as well slam that in. Actually, I want one of them. What it's done, it's planted. It shows what power it had, and it's planting them as it can. What we're going to want is a sapling into there. So what we want out of this is we want this to output. So we'll wrench it to output. And we're going to want a servo in this, so we can filter what goes in there. Oops. So bang a servo in there, and now with an empty hand we can set that to be always be on, which is good. So that's always going to try and pump things out. Now we want a servo in here as well, and this servo we want it to use this one as a filter. So what I want to say on this one is, shift right click on these, by the way, locks them when you've got a thing in it. So we can take that out, and it remembers it would add saplings in there because we've locked it. Now what we can do with this, now we've got a servo in this one, is we can click on it, and we've got a filter there, so we can actually whitelist saplings. So only saplings can go into the planter now, which is good. So we won't get all logs and stuff in here blocking things up. And of course it's night time. So nothing's going to happen, so I might as well sleep. Right, into the bed we go. So this is kind of what I planned for the episode. It's just not going how I wanted it to. You know what I mean? So if you look in there, we have made an MFI harvester. We are on with automated farms, and we've done Ender IO solar, the photovoltaic cells, and the stuff that we're doing. We haven't quite finished setting it up though. So that's the Ender IO stuff. Them 3 machines over there. Let's go back up here again then. What I'm going to do to speed this up a little bit, I'm going to turn on my sigil of the green grove. And that should make this stuff grow a bit quicker. But not that growing it really quick is going to matter a great deal, because we've only got a little bit of power. I've got 2 more of these, but they are for specific places. So what we've got now, we've got stuff coming down here. We could put a servo on each of these, and that'll let us have a filter in each. But so you need a servo for all of them. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to put a servo on this last one. And what I'm going to filter into that is I'm going to blacklist logs when we get one. Come on, grow. There we go. So that's going to start growing stuff. And what I want to do with this is I've wrenched that pipe. See, that's gone dense. That means things will try and only go down there if they can't go anywhere else. So we're not going to get anything in the trash can until we've got stuff in all these. Later on as well, we'll make these up. We'll make these so we can see through them, but we need another machine for that. So that's growing some trees. I'm going to turn that off now, because we haven't got enough power to cut them down very quick. Because this is all about a slow passive system. This actually works better on a server where you can leave it on overnight, if I'm being honest. So we'll probably upgrade this to something else a bit later. I just wanted to show you the principle of this working. So while we're waiting for that to go, I'll show you what I've done with the other harvester. I put the other planter into a chest at the minute, but the other harvester I've used, this is the actual simplest way of doing this, is do it on something like these farms over here. Now the stuff on crops don't need replanting, so you don't need a planter. So we could have one of these on all of these, but I've gone with the string farm to start with, because that doesn't need a planter anyway, because these don't actually get dug up, do they? Well, these are all on crops, so these don't get dug up, so it works for these as well. All we've got to do with this, really nice and simple, because we're going to get one thing from this as well, is all you need to do with this is just bang your cell on top. What that's going to do is, it's only going to do a 3x3 area. It's not going to do the full area of this, but that's just going to passively, using the sun, just start collecting that cotton into the barrel, so the barrel's full. So this little system works really well on a farm like this. So we just need little 3x3 farms, and that'll work really very nicely. I've got something weird under the water here. See under there where it's light, there's actually a big air pocket under the water. So I don't know if that mess up with the config. With the disabled mods, has also got rid of something that was under there, because there's a big bit there and there's no water in it, which suggests that there was blocks there that have been moved out, which is also pissed me off a little bit, if I'm being honest. Well, let's go back up here, see how this is going. So all the saplings at the minute are going into there. So any saplings that are being cut down into there, we're now cutting wood down. So what we should get is we should start getting some wood into one of these. There we go. So now with an empty hand I can lock that. So wood's going to go into there. Now I actually want one of them, and I want a blacklist. So empty hand again. I want to blacklist wood into that. So I'll keep that as blacklist time. That means wood cannot go into the trash. So what that's going to do is, once this fills up, it's going to take a while, but it's just going to keep working away while I'm around. Or whenever I'm logged on, because this place is chunk loaded. Once this fills up with wood, if these two fill up, then any extras more than a barrel full, which is a lot, will go into the trash. Apples are going to go into there, of course, once we get an apple. So once they fill up, they'll go there. Once this fills up, it'll actually block the pipes up. And once the pipes are blocked up, it'll just stop this guy working. So then the power will just build up. So we've got a bit of power in there. So it takes time for trees to grow. We get a bit of a wait. So that's working, and that's working. So I've done them two. Now the other photovoltaic cell is for the last thing I wanted to make. This is called the Auto Disenchanter. And I've got all the bits ready for this. So more than plastic sheets. This time a couple of bucks, a couple of diamonds, our usual machine frame and coil there, and a nether brick at the top. Gets you this guy called an Auto Disenchanter. And this takes quite a lot of power, so this is going to take a while. I'm going to set it up and come back to it. But if we go up here, you'll see that that's got quite a bit in. I got to 30 levels, and I enchanted a book just because that was full, so I thought I might as well enchant a book. And unfortunately I only got Smite 4, which is not great, but it's alright, Smite 4. I will make a Smite sword at some time, because they're good for killing skeletons, withers, stuff like that. So I'll wet that towards a Smite 5 at some point, but we've got this guy. What we want is this auto disenchanter putting down, and this side of the workshop's getting very busy. I'm going to put that there, and what I'll do is I'm going to bang this other cell on top of that. So what that's going to do is it's going to fill it with power, but this isn't great. Problem with this is this uses a lot of power. It needs 600 work, so this will take quite a long time. This again, it's a bit of a passive thing, but what we can do now is if I right click this, get myself up to 30 levels. Now this is a bit that I was going to show you earlier, but I wasn't quite ready for. What I can do is I've done a bit of research from Craft Research, and I've researched this guy, Thaumium Scoop. It's from Magic Bees, and the nice thing about a Thaumium Scoop is it can only get the repair enchant. I've stayed on a Direwolf video from RW Tim that you can actually get in Unbreaking, but I've never seen that myself. So when I make a Thaumium Scoop, I'm going to enchant it in here. So I'm going to give it a full 30, even though it can only get repair. I'm going to give it a full 30 to try and get repair 2. So look there, we've got repair 2 on that. So what we can do now is we can take one of these books off here. Come here, books. So I've got a full stack of books on there. I'll put half a stack back, and then I'll put half a stack in here. And what I can do now is I can put that Thaumium Scoop in there, and you see how much it's took all that power and it's only worked that much. So it's only got 49, 50. So I'll come back when that's up to 600. What that's going to do is going to pull repair off onto that book. And we're also going to need 40 more levels. So let's see how far we get. I'll be back in a little bit. This will be the last bit of this episode. I've got 20. I need another 20 levels out of that. I need to wait for that. So that is how we're going to make copies of the repair book, and then we'll be able to put them on this using the anvil. So I will break in a little bit and show you that. The other thing I want to show you in this episode really quick is another little thing I made, which I don't seem to have the materials for. Another fail on my part. I thought I'd prepped the materials to make spellbinding cloth. Spellbinding cloth is very cool. It's this stuff. What you do is you get a bit of enchanted fabric, which I'm sure I'd made, but I didn't see it in there. It's not in there. It's not in there. No, I can't make it. Well, another thing, I'll just tell you about this. I won't bother making it just yet. Spellbinding cloth. What you can do with this, you throw a bit of enchanted fabric in the crucible with some aspects, you get this spellbinding cloth. What you can do with that, you can actually scrub enchants off things. So if I want to get repair on these Thaumium leggings, I'm going to have to scrub it off first with the enchanting cloth. And what I can also do, I could take protection and unbreaking off by putting it through there twice, and then I'll get a protection and unbreaking book. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. I'll pull them enchants off there. It'll take me a while, but I'll get these enchants pulled off there, so I've got them as books as well, ready for copying later on. If I got something I really didn't want on there, like fire protection and thorns, stuff that I don't want, what you can use is a spellbinding cloth to get that off. So I'll get that made as well off camera. While we're waiting for all this, I'll be back for the last time in this episode, just to make us a copy of a repair book. See you in a bit. Okay then, we're nearly at 50 minutes, so I'm going to have to rush this little last bit, because I don't want to go too much over there. What I want is my little thing on here, monocle, so we can see things in here again. So now what we can see, if we look at this now, we can see that it says repair 2 there in pink. It's quite light, it's quite hard to see. And in the middle there it says requires 40 levels. Well, I've got 40 levels, as you can see by my bar. So what I'll do is if I shift click on that book with an empty hand, boop, it uses one of these chases, becomes this plate, and now if we click on there with a plate, we can now get 3 repair 2 books. Each one uses an ink and a book. So for an ink and a book, we're getting 2 extra repairs and 40 levels. But of course, if we want to like enchant that grafter 3 times, it would have took 90 levels. So actually, we're better off. So what I'll probably do is use 2 of these, and then leave one on the shelf. So I made some shelves for these things. So stuff I want to keep. So I've got a repair tool on the shelf, and let's check that out as well. It actually shows you what's in there because I've got the monocle on. You can see what book you're looking at. I've also got a protection 4 that I pulled off these pants. Now you see it does more damage. There is a risk that pulling this Unbreaking 3 off might destroy them pants. So it might put me 7 foaming ingots out, but it might not. We'll see how close it gets. But what I certainly can do now is I'm on 0 levels. We've got some more in here though, so if I click on that, I'll see how many levels I get. Let's 10 should certainly be enough. We'll go 13 levels, all good. So now in the anvil, I can put my helmet of revealing in there. I can put a repair toolbook in there. For 9 levels, it's now got protection 4 and repair 2. So that is going to start repairing itself when I put it back on my head. So that'll gradually fill back up. I can get another 10 levels or so. I'll be able to put repair onto my thamium and chest plate. Then another 40 levels, I'll be able to do another copy of the book. So that one's actually going to go back in there. Another 40 levels, I'll be able to do another copy of the book and put repair onto these pants. Wonderful. So that is all that bit done. I did make quickly the spellbinding cloth, like I said. So that's a spellbinding cloth. For example, if I had enchant on this bow that I didn't want, and I put that in there, and then it'll take a little bit of durability off that, and I'll get the unenchanted bow back. So that's going to be useful later on for certain things that we don't particularly want to pull the enchants off, but we'd like to re-enchant with something else, so we don't have to waste time. Or if something's very damaged, you don't want to just destroy it. See, if this was right down there, I wouldn't want to pull protection off with that because it'd destroy the chest piece. So I could pull it off with that. So if I put that in there, in fact, that can show you what that look. That is. This takes no damage, but that'd have no protection on it, so I just strip that off. So if I'd have got projectile protection or blast protection, something that I don't actually want, I prefer just straight up protection myself, then I could do that. Cool. So there we go. And these spring boots, by the way, protection from fall damage. So whee, took a little bit of damage, but I took a lot more if I didn't have them on, certainly. So just before we go, let's quickly check this out. We've done what I actually wanted to do in episode 8. Spellbinding cloth is covered really briefly. Enchanted bookmaking, we've done that. We've automated some farms. We've got a tree farm and a string farm automated. And we activated our spring boots. So just before we go, see how much string we've got. Sorry for the long episode, and sorry it was a bit disjointed. I'll try and organise the next episode a bit better. But we've got just 45, not great, but it's coming along. And so I've just been doing a little bit of mining while I was waiting for that stuff to, the XP to farm. I was actually looking for another essence bush. Could do a couple more. And how was this doing? We're up to here. Got 2 stacks of logs, so I say pretty slow, but nice and steady. If I'm on the server, playing the server, it's going to go pretty quick. It's better off if it was a server, to be honest. I might actually switch this up to a server at some point and run it alternate nights with my other series. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, as always. I hope it was educational. I didn't flick between stuff too much. And I hope you come back for the next episode. Cheers. Bye.